excited. So
Yay.
welcome Liz and Kim. This is the very first episode of our Zoomcast. It's called The More We Get Together, Conversations That Build Bridges in Early Childhood. And this is always going to be hosted by Western Mass Early Ed Partners, myself, Sheila Gould, and my colleague, Liz Charlin Tate. So we are so excited because this first series of our podcast is going to be all about connecting student teachers and pre-service teachers to the field. So this first episode is called Into the Wild West, all right? Because we're out here in Western Massachusetts having great conversations about early childhood education and care, and we want to share them with you, and we want to connect our pre-service teachers to the professional world that they're entering. So I'm Sheila Gould. I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator and Practicum Supervisor at Holyoke Community College, and this is my colleague Liz Charlin Tate from Strong Start. So Liz, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Charlin Tate. I am the lead coach with the Western PDC Professional Development Center through Strong Start. I've been functioning as a coach and a trainer for the last 6 years. So that's been wonderful. And before that, I was a director and everything else you could possibly imagine being in infant, toddler, and preschool programs. So, I'd love to start by telling everyone where this all started, how this came to be. So March 13th happened, Friday the 13th, and we were all sent home and our children were sent home and we entered into the great unknown. And one thing that happened pretty quickly was a lot of directors in Western Mass were reaching out to me because the last thing they wanted to be was alone. And we were all grappling with what it felt like to feel incredibly isolated on every level. It was something that none of us had a context to draw from. And there was a group of directors I've been meeting with for over 6 years now, and we quickly got together on Zoom and struggled our way through Zoom. The power that happened there, the magic, the crying, the connections, we just knew that we needed each other. And at the beginning, there was a lot of crying, and just talking about the fears and the unknown was very powerful. And I think that it just quickly became my mission that the last thing I wanted was for people to feel alone. And if there was anything I could do in my role to connect people, then that's what I was going to do. And I was so fortunate to have Kim Quinlan as my amazing supervisor, who gave me the green light on trying anything I could to find people and bring them to me on the screen. And through this process, I started to see other leaders in our field across the state having podcasts and conversations that they were recording and putting out into the world. And I thought we should do the same. And so I reached out to you, Sheila, and I shared an idea with you that perhaps we could come up with our own way to get together, invite people from our wonderful early childhood industry and get to just talk about what's going on for us, how we're feeling, what are we worried about, how are our families, how is this impacting children. And it was just this little seed that I planted and you took that and it germinated into this, it grew into this beautiful thing.
So for me, it became a time for me to reflect on the unique position that we're in at Holyoke Community College to have the Strong Start grant on our campus, which we can't go to campus, but it's an opportunity to connect our student teachers with the professional world that they're entering. So Liz and I are hosting, this first episode today, and we thought it would be really important to have Kim Quinlan as our first guest because Kim really gets to have her hand in all the intricacies and complexities of the early childhood world, particularly the unique features of early childhood in Western Mass. So we thought it would be great to have her here just to talk about a few things. So Kim, tell us a little bit about your role within the grants at HCC. And then Liz and I have a couple of questions that we're hoping you would help us learn more about.
Great. So I joined the group at HCC a year and a half ago. Can you even believe it's been a year and a half?
Wow.
When Holyoke Community College became the lead agent for the Western Mass Consortium of 3 colleges under the Career Pathways Grant, and then subsequently also became the Western PDC for the Strong Start Grant. So the nice thing about being at HCC is that we've really been able to connect with the early childhood faculty and bring the faculty with the community together a little more closely in these opportunities. So it's been a wonderful opportunity to be at the college, but then with everything that happened after March 13th, which I still have not embedded in my head that it was a Friday the 13th that all happened. So, wow. You know, it's given us a really unique opportunity to reach out to people and try and be really responsive and creative in the way that we can support them. So between, you know, getting our career pathway students in and shifting from in-person to online and trying to set them up with all of the technology that they need to be successful in their classes, and additional support through tutoring and tech support. It's amazing what it takes to get all of that put together, but then also to work with the educators and the directors in the field who are trying to get through, you know, emergency care into opening, into fully opening. It's been quite a transition, and we've learned an amazing amount of not only issues and how to help early childhood folks, but resiliency in this field, and how coming together and trying to fight this isolation that Liz was talking about really has created a whole new layer of creativity and innovative practices that people are learning and, you know, implementing to get through this.
You know, when we think about building bridges, I think the thing that started to emerge for me and for all the different directors that I was meeting with was this understanding that we needed to move away from a model of sort of business practice and into one of collaboration. And it became less and less about holding resources close and because our field tends to have less resources. That's been a history for us. And so that's why we always hold on to toilet paper tubes, people, and, you know, like the paper towel rolls and everything. But what I was really seeing was how generous the field was, how generous directors were. If they had figured out something, they quickly shared it with everyone that they could. I had so many directors send me, I made a form. Can you send this to everyone? And so when we think about building bridges, this is the thing that so inspired me and moves me to tears, just thinking about how willing people were to open themselves up in the middle of this scary time and pull people in. And that's, to me, when I think of the bridges, the pathways, the connections that we're making, why this feels like such a wonderful place for us to be now after everything we've been through.
You know, Kim, it makes me wonder, as we go through this transitional time and the voices that are speaking about early childhood are changing. You know, we're hearing more and more politicians bring this to the forefront of their campaigns. It's a very exciting spotlight. What can people who are new to the field or who are about to join the field, how can they find their voice in this really complex world?
It's really, I think it's incredibly important for new teachers to the field. I think it's incredibly important for all people in early childhood, but for new folks who are entering the field and trying to figure out what their path is going to be and how they're going to find their voice, is exactly through what we're talking about, is building bridges and being connected to the greater field. I will never forget when I was a brand new teacher. I think I'd only been in the field for 6 months or so. The group of teachers I worked with brought me to the New England AEYC conference. That would have been fun.
Oh, that would have been nice. Those are gone now.
Back in the days where you could carpool, we packed us all into a car and drove to upstate Maine, and we went to this conference. And I was struck to be in the presence of 400 other people who all were passionate about early childhood education and brain development and curriculum and literacy. I mean, it was the most empowering experience for me. And so I think especially people entering the field right now where we can't be going to these big conferences at this moment, connecting with the field, hearing other people talk, reaching out in whatever ways that you can. So there are, Boston's Children's Hospital does some Zoom calls on COVID policies, and Congressperson Clark from Eastern Mass has been a great voice and advocate for the field. And I think the more people can connect with the greater community, the more they will find their voice about what parts of their work is their passion. So there's more to being an early childhood educator than what you do in your classroom. While the classroom part is the most important part of what you do as an early childhood educator, there's so much more that you can tap into and be a part of. And so using, the resources that I'm sure you provide as their faculty member.
Too many. I think sometimes they're a little overwhelmed by the resources section of my Moodle page, but they're never lacking.
No. And also connecting with the Professional Development Center and connecting with the community at large. And so many of your students, I'm sure, are working in the field and connecting with their directors to find out what's out there and what the options are to help them see the big picture of this field is really important.
Yeah, and for me as a faculty member, it's important for me to instill in them just the value that goes into what they're doing and how it impacts our society and our economy, how valuable and meaningful their work is in any level of working with children and families, whether they're a classroom teacher or they're doing taking on a different role. That's something that I want them to hold with them when they leave HCC. And I think HCC has a real history of instilling that in students. Over the summer, when all of this happened, and Liz and I were talking about how can we build bridges, I was simultaneously, my email box was flooded with former students saying, can you and your colleagues like Tricia Kiefer, can you help us to implement these guidelines? How do we do this? How do we do this? And I thought, I've also never taught in a pandemic. How can I help you? And there were so many of these individual emails that, number one, I thought, that's amazing that these students know that HCC is still there for them. Two, I need all of you in one place, right? So HCC Marketing helped me make a little Facebook group for early childhood alumni, and they started helping each other. So those bridges, that foundation of HCC, helped them to form bridges of wherever they are now trying to navigate this. And I'm only just now coming out of the fog of just making it happen and managing it and seeing the beauty of the support that happens in our field and through community colleges and all the different places where our students land and are finding their voices. And, doing this Zoomcast, I think I hope it'll be a catalyst for our current student teachers to know that they have a voice and that they have a support system out in the field and then still at HCC and within Strong Start, because it's hard work. It's hard work.
Well, and I think there's something there for that. I think we know that, and we want to share this with others, which is, for so many of us who are in this field, it's so much more than a job, right? There's some sort of pull on our hearts or the passion for it, but there's something really important that happens when you connect with others, and that has been happening so much now, and it happened before, but there's a quality to it that's different now. And what I would love to do is to find ways to be able to inspire people who are new to the field, students who will be coming into our field, to learn or have access quicker to how to join groups. How do I find a teacher support group? How do I join that Reggio support group?
Yes.
Where are those people? We need community. I always say this, but we as an animal, we're a pack animal. We're meant to be together. And I think that that's the other thing I love about this, is some idea that we could connect new folks who are new to the field and coming in with those who have been in the field for a long time, and finding common ground for people. And if that's something that comes out of this pandemic, then bingo, we found something that's just gold, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Early childhood folks never lose an opportunity. That is one thing that we never ever do. So one more thing, and when we're thinking about all these complexities and all their working parts, Kim, what are the best ways for students and new folks to the field to begin to navigate the complexities of the field?
Right. I think finding a network and finding your people is an important part of it. Some of the things that we've been doing through Strong Start to try and support people who are trying to navigate this current experience. But I think one of the things that we're learning that will expand and continue to be really valuable moving forward is creating networks of people who have similar issues, interests, something that they're chewing on or struggling with. It doesn't always have to be because there's a problem. Sometimes it's, what is the next step of my professional development, or what am I looking for? And so some of the things that we've been trying are these coffee hours that Liz hosts many of. They are hour-and-a-half drop-in virtual meetings where people can just pop in and talk. And so I know it's challenging for educators to get out of their classrooms to do this, but I know Liz is trying a variety of times and days, and does nap time work? Does evening work? Does a Saturday morning work? What is it that we can do to help people get together? And while it feels like, oh my gosh, one more thing, I have class, I have work, do I really want to do this? By putting yourself out there and engaging, whether it's through a coffee chat or a PLC or a training or something, by putting yourself out there, you're creating a network for yourself, which is bigger than you, and it's bigger than the program where you're working or the college where you're attending classes. It is your professional persona that you're developing. And the more people you talk to and the more connections you make, the more you're going to flesh out what you want that persona to be and what you want your professional philosophy and theory and belief system to be. It's hard, when you're a college student, and I was an HCC early childhood student, and I remember sitting in the theory class, and I'm learning about Montessori and Piaget and all, and then, you think, what is this ever going to mean to me? But then slowly but surely, the more you connect with people in your field, the more you go to trainings and workshops and professional learning communities, you start to hear people who maybe aren't using the same language that your professor was using, but they're talking about the same thing. And, I've got a 3-year-old, and it's not, I have a 3-year-old that's crying all the time. What do? It's, I've got a 3-year-old who's struggling with this developmental stage, and they need help to get through it. And so then you start to talk about and form a philosophy about how you work with children. And so I would encourage people new to the field, who've been in the field for a really long time and just need to remember what the core of them is, their belief system, is join groups, be part of things that are out there. You don't have to do it every day, and you don't have to do it every week, but don't isolate yourself. If one of the things is that we're going to learn from this experience is that being out there and connecting with people is what helps you get through. It's also what helps you be better. And so,
it's better for kids and families.
Right.
And that's
Kim,
the bottom line.
So beautifully put. And I'll tell you, it was Kim who introduced me to the concept of thinking partners. And I love that. And she actually said it to me early on in the pandemic about inviting someone to be your thought partner. And there's something about that just sounds so beautiful to me. And to invite someone in to hear your thinking and hear theirs and sharing ideas is so different than talking at, or even, there's just a quality there that is so special. And I think that that's what we're wanting to cultivate. our thinking partners. And so problem solvers, right? Which is a big thing that we want to teach our little ones to do. Problem solve, and I always say chewing on ideas. Just let's trouble this out. Let's chew on this idea. And there's something magical that happens when you invite people in to your thinking, and not just like, I'm just going to tell you what I think, but more, let's share this idea. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for this stage that we've set for the rest of this series 1, connecting students with their field. I'm excited for the students to get to view this episode, because we really hope that any ideas that come from this are ideas that we can then harvest and bring to life through our opportunities with Strong Start and at HCC.
And career pathways.
And career pathways. And the more we work with students, and the other guests from the field that we'll be inviting on, the hope is that ideas come out that can give people what they might be seeking. So that's really our hope, and we have a lot more episodes coming throughout this fall. So I hope people watch.
Yeah. So thank you for joining us, and please feel welcome. I'm learning my script here, you'll see. Please feel welcome to share this recording, and if you use social media, please use the hashtag Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast, because that's what we are. We're an Itsy Bitsy Zoomcast. Our next episode is called Staying Positive in a Pandemic, Running a Center Then and Now. It will be published on October 14th, and you can always find our recordings on HCC social media, as well as Strong Start social media. And we'll be sending links to folks in different ways to make sure that we get the word out about our Itsy Bitsy podcast. Zoomcast.
Thank you for having me. This was great. Oh, sorry, I totally.
It's okay. These are informal conversations to share our thoughts.
This is the trickiest part about Zoom, is like not talking over each other.
I know, especially early childhood people that love to share and talk and express. So I think we're just going to welcome that part of our personalities. But, this was great. I love partnering with both of you. I can't wait to have more people on from the field and to get the students involved.
Yes.
For the rest of the series, yes, Liz and I are the hosts, but students are going to be planning and interviewing the other guests that we invite who have expertise in the topics coming up. So you'll be getting to see HCC student teachers chat with the field, and Liz and I will be there to facilitate. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope everyone stays healthy and happy.
And take good care of yourselves.
Yes, in all ways. All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.